You know the saying, if it's free, then you're the product? Well, who cares if you like the product? You kind of look at it like an equal exchange. They provide you with some entertainment and a service, and you provide them with a little information. But I wouldn't say the problem is you being the product. I would say the problem is that you're an employee of all of these companies and you're not even getting paid for it. So let's be real, it's 2026 now. I'm not going to tell you to delete all of your apps and get off your phone and do that. No one's going to do that. But what I am going to show you is how you can stop working for these companies for free. Now, I'm definitely guilty of this. You just scroll through TikTok or Instagram or YouTube at this point, and you just watch a couple videos, but then all of a sudden you look at your clock and 2 hours have gone by and all you've done is just scroll through meaningless content. Now, these are all really called human intelligence tasks by engineers, and that just means that whenever you click on a new tab, whenever you scroll, whenever you double tap, whenever you do any of this, you're basically giving them data. And as we know, with more and more generative AI coming out, the more data we give, the better things like generative AI can be, the better marketers can be, because they know everything inside out. And a lot of us, I would say, are pretty addicted to this. It's pretty easy to get addicted to because there's just a bunch of quick wins. You scroll through something, you like it, you scroll through something, it shows you more of what you like. And again, we're all employees in this situation. And instead of getting paid with money, we're getting paid with dopamine. It's literally like we're rats in the cage and we do something that they want us to do, and then they give us a sugar cube. And it's a game that we all know we're playing. That's the craziest thing about it, is we all know we're playing this game. At the end of the day, everything we're doing is being tracked by these platforms, and marketers are using this information to target us. And I, for one, have always kind of had that sort of perspective of, if marketers are using this information to target me with things that I like, then I would much rather get that than, random ads that I don't care about. I would much rather want things that I would actually be interested in. How many people are just like, you might set your budget, pay all your bills, you put money into savings, and then you're like, okay, I'm supposed to use this money to do something fun with. And you're just like, I have no idea what to do with it. And I think in that case, you probably should just put the money and add it to what you already saved or invest it. But sometimes you do need to have fun. And then, what if an ad pops up that's something that you're interested in that you would have never known about if they didn't do all this tracking for you? That's one thing that I kind of think about where, like, I sort of push back. A lot of people have that perspective of, I don't want them tracking me. I don't want them knowing what I'm doing. I'm making sure that I don't let them track my search, all those things. But at the end of the day, is that really a bad thing? And that's a good question there. Is that really a bad thing? And this is called a behavioral surplus. They not just track what we do, they track what they think we'll do in the future. When you have things like algorithms, they're great at predicting things. So they're great at knowing what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to do the day after, what things you're going to click on. If they recommend you another one of my videos, or they recommend you another YouTuber's videos, and you end up getting a lot and learning from that other YouTuber, I would say that's a net positive. But at the end of the day, people just kind of feel like, it's a little invasive, and they don't necessarily want people just scrolling through everything that they've ever done and knowing what they'll do next. They kind of look at it as creepy. And that's definitely understandable, because at the end of the day, these platforms were created as a great way to share content, a great way to connect with your friends. And now we don't even connect with our friends. We're connecting with random people. People's goals are to end up on a page like a For You page, or, a page where basically they know nobody and they get engagement from strangers. So that's what we've graduated to at this point. And all of these platforms started this way, but now we're kind of in an era where these platforms have realized that data is the most valuable thing that you could possibly have. If you ever go on a sales job, like, selling solar panels, selling whatever, the most money that these companies will spend, these sales companies will spend, is money for leads, information, people's jobs, people's ages, people's houses, people's phone numbers, they want information, and they want to know about these customers. They want a specific type of customer. So this is the most valuable thing really that we have right now in the world. And these companies are realizing that. I have what a lot of other companies want, and I can use all of these users on my platform, not to just drive them to ads. Like, that's really easy. We can show ads on our platform, but we can show them very targeted ads that are going to make people buy things that they would have never bought, because it's exactly what they asked for. It's exactly what they want. And that's, of course, like the same old thing where people do that experiment where they say, They just start talking about pet food and how much, I want to make sure I go out and get Spot a new bag of pet food. And let's see if pet food pops up on my computer, and I'll let you know if I get recommended pet food. Pet food. I'm gonna let you know if I get recommended pet food after mentioning it this many times, because there's that theory that they're always listening, and people talk about pet food as one of the things that they listen to, and then all of a sudden you see a pet food ad, and I have no dogs, I have no cats, so we'll test it out there. And it seems like that's very common in society at this point. Of companies are collecting our data. Like, for instance, ChatGPT is the model that literally remembers everything you tell it. My ChatGPT knows all of the endeavors I'm working on, all of the things, like almost everything about me. It's very helpful because when I ask it for things, it can give me very targeted solutions that are specific for me, which is a win for me. But also at the same time, I'm literally training it on, my archetype, what I am, how much I make, what my interests are. I'm giving it a lot of free information. In fact, I'm paying every month for it and giving them information, which is the ultimate win. So it's just, we're in this conundrum of constantly trying to figure out, should I share this information with this company so I can get either dopamine or convenience or a host of other things back in return. And then, a lot of people are getting here, and, I'm kind of here right now of like, at the end of the day, like, we live in a society where, like, you can't go to the corner store, you can't go to the mall, you can't go anywhere without cameras tracking every turn you make. You have a license plate, they're going to basically see you come out of your house, they're going to see what turns you make, they'll know everything you're doing on every day. And right now, they could be listening to me and through my TV microphone, they could be listening to me through my computer. You never know when you're being listened to or looked at. And I get to a certain point where I'm thinking, like, who cares? They're watching everything I'm doing anyway. So why wouldn't I benefit from this? They're getting free information from me either way. So why not benefit from it? You get what I'm saying? Like, why not benefit from it and take advantage of them taking advantage of me? Then also, what else pays this much attention to you? Like, what else knows everything about you? Who else knows everything about you to the point that this algorithm does? Like, literally, you go on any streaming service, you go on your favorite app, you go on YouTube, you go on all of these places, and it's specifically tailored to you. Humans are humans, and they're very self-concerned. They're very concerned with what they have going on, what their goals are, what they want to do. How often do those people cater to you holistically? Because that's what's happening here. Is we're literally getting custom made Instagram feeds. We're getting custom made Twitter feeds, unfortunately. And that's something that people are complaining about on apps like Instagram and Twitter, because now they're taking it a step forward, and it's not everything we've decided that we want to see, everything that, we've consented to seeing. Now they're just showing us things that they think we'll like. And, if you interact with it at all, if you even pause to scroll through it to say, why is this on my feed? Then they say, oh, they like it, so I'm going to show even more of it. But coming from a psychology background, it's seeming like the addiction is not just with the dopamine from the scrolling. It really seems like the addiction is the feeling of getting that tailored experience. That tailored experience that you don't really find anywhere else these days but the internet. The feeling of getting that tailored experience allows you to feel like you're the main character. You're the main character in the story. All of these, anybody that studied sales or studied things under that umbrella knows that in order to make a sale, you have to make that person feel like they're the main character. You have to make that person feel like they know something or they're doing something that nobody else is doing. And I think that's what we're all really experiencing. And there's three options here. You can step out and you can turn off all your computers, all your phones, get all your TVs out, get all the electronics out and live in a different world. Still go outside and get surveilled by video cameras and still get surveilled through your phone, even though you're not on these apps. And then the last thing is you can participate in it and, basically get an equal exchange, or as equal an exchange as you can get, which is either get dopamine from it, convenience from it, or money from it. And I think probably convenience and money is probably the best. but you can get those things from it and basically make it mutually beneficial. But there is an answer that will work for most people, and it is really just looking at it and saying, like, I'm smarter than this computer. I'm smarter than it. It can only take things at face value at the end of the day. There are things like nuance that can be built into an algorithm. You can decide that you're only going to give ChatGPT things about business, about your business. It can know everything about that, but it doesn't know about your personal life. You can have it know everything that you want it to know. You can have things like YouTube and Netflix only show you things that you want it to show you. So, you can customize your feed to show you, shenanigans, which most people get on, things like streaming services, and YouTube Shorts is mostly shenanigans. Or you can make all of that content something that benefits your life. So make sure you interact with things that are beneficial, only things that are beneficial. And if you don't see something that's beneficial, you just immediately go out of it. That will kind of stop a lot of the doom scrolling. Maybe only focus on the things that are giving you a direct ROI. If you're treating this like a business deal, if you'd like to address this situation and you don't want to leave this situation feeling like they're taking advantage of you. But I really think the biggest answer to this conundrum is really the old saying, if you can't beat them, then join them. I mean, it really is that. It's really that. So I think people should be trying to become personal brands. People should be trying to become influencers. And that doesn't mean you have to be, somebody that takes duck lip selfies in the mirror, or you got to be somebody that, goes to red carpet events or anything like that. I think it's just really just finding a way to benefit the way that these companies are benefiting from us. Be the company that's targeting people. Be the person that benefits from ads on platforms, because the world moves so fast. And something that you learn, if you look at history, is that you can get on the ride or you can get off the ride. You can participate in new things that pop up, and you can talk about how, Gen X had it so easy and baby boomers had it so easy because they were before things. But right now we have social media, we have AI, and we have all of these things that we've had, and we're pretty much not the first social media generation. Gen Z definitely isn't the first. Millennials, late Gen X is probably the first, but we're definitely the first generative AI generation. And we're the early adopters that people can look back and say, oh, they had it easy because they had AI first. Or, they had it easy because they had YouTube Shorts and TikTok first. So take advantage of it, benefit from it, because they're going to benefit from you.